Today on Florida's Sportsman Best Boat. If you're serious about targeting the weariest of shallow water game fish, we'll be taking a look at the Bonefish Bohemian 17. A flats boat with an overall length of 17 feet 3 inches, a beam of 6 feet, and max horsepower rating of 115. Standout features on the Bonefish Bohemian 17. A shallow draft allows anglers to target game fish that roam in just inches of water. A casting platform mounted on the forward deck gives anglers added viewing distance, increasing odds at making casts to weary flats fish. An ergonomic console design provides room for all of the necessary components required to operate the vessel while utilizing minimal cockpit space. For those who can't decide on their favorite style of fishing, we'll be looking at the Jupiter 25 Bay. A bay boat with an overall length of 26 feet 1 inch, a beam of 8 feet 6 inches, and max horsepower rating of 300. Standout features on the Jupiter 25 Bay. A versatile hull design provides anglers with access to shallower inshore waters while easily handling the demands of unpredictable blue water conditions. An uncluttered deck layout from bow to stern that is clean and free from obstructions is an absolute must when fishing multiple anglers. A second station gives sight fishermen the upper advantage, whether along mangroves inshore, nearshore off the beach, or offshore on a weed line. If unlimited offshore adventure and family fun need to find the perfect balance, we'll be taking a look at the Contender 39FA, a center console with an overall length of 39 feet, a beam of 10 feet 8 inches, and max horsepower rating of 1400. Standout features on the Contender 39FA. An open deck layout with no obstructions or trip hazards means easy access from stem to stern for fishermen and the family. A full amenity cabin provides everyone on board a comfortable place to relax in the air conditioning with everything needed for extended trips. A large cockpit gives multiple anglers plenty of room to fish a large spread, avoiding tangled lines and other mishaps. Join our hosts George Labonte and Rick Riles as they conduct walkthroughs and review key features, all to help you decide if this is the best boat for you.
Welcome to Season 6 of America's favorite recreational boating showcase, Florida Sportsman Best Boat.
And let me tell you something, Captain George, if you've ever thought about buying a new boat, dreamed about it, or ever considered spending your free time on the water, you won't want to miss the 39 boats we got for you this year.
And what a great lineup we've got to kick off the season this year. What are we going to look at today, Rick?
Oh, talk about starting with a bang. How about the Bonefish Bohemian 17, all right? Go from there to the Jupiter 25 Bay, and then on up to the Contender 39 Fish Around.
Let's start by talking about this Bonefish, man. You know, they never disappoint us, and that 17 Bohemian is a really unique boat. This boat ate up the chop beautifully and still managed to float in 6 inches of water. How about that?
That's an accomplishment, because you usually have one or the other. But ever since we were at the Miami Boat Show last year, you and I have talked about that Jupiter 25 Bay.
I waited all year to get on it, and let me tell you what, I was not disappointed. This is going to be a great boat for everybody to look at. Finally, the Contender 39 Fish Around. Okay, start with a beast of a boat, a serious tournament fishing boat, and add amenities, a cabin, air conditioning, a galley, a bed to sleep in. You got that 39 Fish Around. What a boat.
So if you want to see 3 great boats, each of them doing different things, grab a cool drink and sit back. Here we come with another episode of Florida Sportsman Best Boat.
When we come back, hosts George Labonte and Rick Riles take a closer look at a boat designed to float shallow and tame open water, the Bonefish Bohemian 17. This segment brought to you by Suzuki Marine, the ultimate 4-stroke outboard. Welcome back to Florida Sportsman Best Boat. Join our hosts George Labonte and Rick Riles as they take a closer look at the Bonefish Bohemian 17. Representing the flats boat category, the Bonefish Bohemian 17 has an overall length of 17 feet 3 inches, a beam of 6 feet, and a max horsepower rating of 115. Engineered to get skinny without sacrificing ride quality, she has a draft of 6.5 inches, a dead rise of 12 degrees, a dry weight of 550 pounds, and a fuel capacity of 25 gallons. Now, let's hear more from our hosts, George Labonte and Rick Riles.
George, you know, we've been together a couple years now, and I've seen you run a lot of boats. I don't know if I've seen you look like you were having more fun than you did this morning on the Bonefish Bohemian 17.
I fish in shallow water a lot, okay? And it seems like 6 inches is the number where everything gets cut off. Effectively, you need a boat that will get you in 6 to 8 inches of water, and this boat obviously does that with ease. I mean, this boat is made for shallow water, and it definitely is sneaky in the shallow water, but more importantly to me, I keep wanting to go back to, it's a running boat that's going to get you across big water really comfortably and really quickly.
George, a tremendous advantage that you get from this casting platform, to be able to stand up here and see just that much further. I don't know about you, but the fish I fish on actually require a longer cast, it seems like, every year.
This is a nice arrangement right here. This one attaches with the turnbuckle. It doesn't prohibit you from getting into that nice big storage hatch underneath it, so it's very useful in that respect.
If you're being poled, this is a great place to stand. If you're not, you can actually step forward, drive that trolling motor. They use space up here very, very well.
A trolling motor is such a useful tool for the type of fishing that we do a lot of around here. That's when you're fishing around docks or around the jetty or just working the edges of mangroves. It's not always about getting up here and pushing the boat around, and that thing definitely does the job, especially where we're at right here. It's another way we've made space in this boat. This is a really unique looking console. To me, it's really easy to see over. It really opens up the boat a lot. This boat incidentally comes with the Fell Marine wireless kill switch, which is very cool. That's built in there. They've got a sound system, this Bluetooth stereo, trim tabs, all of that's located here. And all your switches and your battery switch are located inside here. They're completely out of the weather. You pull it out to access the stuff with fuses and everything, breakers, and close that up and it's away, out of sight. Very clever.
George, I love the wider gunnels like this. Anybody that's ever tarpon fished will tell you that you have to have the ability to run your gunnels.
I'm the type of guy who's always running back and forth on the gunnels, and you know, getting them out there like that too on this cap gets you space underneath, makes it easier to put your under gunnel rod storage, which this boat obviously has. You got plenty of room for 6, 3 on each side.
George, I tell you, the two of you looked very comfortable on this boat this morning. It looked to me like you had plenty of room for a third.
No problem with space for 2 anglers and an extra person on this boat whatsoever. This seating is very comfortable. You could sit 3 across here if you needed to, but obviously we've got the forward seat there too. And something else I really liked about the seating here, you know, Bonefish's upholstery is always really nice. I like this backrest right here. Hits you right there in the lower back and the kidneys where you want it to. It's very comfortable. The thing folds up and gets out of the way if you don't want it there, if you're fishing back here. And if you put it down, it becomes a step to get you up on this whole platform too, which is really cool.
George, we mentioned how fantastic this boat would be for redfish tournament anglers. They can't do it without a release well, can they?
Yeah, and this boat's got 2 bait wells back here actually. There's the live well in the center. There's a 20-gallon live well in the center, but they've got the release well. It's a little bit longer. I mean, it's plenty big enough to put your redfish that you got to bring back to weigh and keep them alive all day long. So what a boat for that tournament circuit, that redfish guys. This boat would be perfect for it.
The guys that are serious. Now you've got storage on this side?
Yep, another storage. I mean, there's plenty of storage right there, but there's another box right here to put a bunch of dry stuff, tackle, whatever in there. Real easy to get to. I mean, it's basically, I mean, we're using every inch of space on this boat.
Cap, let me tell you something. If I'm lying, I'm dying. The first polling platform I saw in Northeast Florida, thought it was to eat your lunch off of.
And think about how many of those you've seen over your life that were about the size of a tennis racket. Absolutely had no problem negotiating the amount of real estate under my feet, pushing this boat around. And it leaves you room to work around the corners there if you're fishing back there as well.
If your checklist is it's fun to drive, it handles big water, it's plenty quick, it gets you in less than 10 inches of water, if that's your happy place, that's where you want to fish, you will not be disappointed in the Bonefish Bohemian 17.
When we return, host George Labonte and Rick Riles step aboard a boat that is built to impress inshore and offshore, the Jupiter 25 Bay. This segment brought to you by Engel, the best performance coolers on the market.
Wake up early on your days off. Go on an adventure. Get out on the water. Here at Engle, we live for these days. We think you should spend more time in nature. Let us help you enjoy it. For those that care about quality, who want to get out into the world with a confidence that their gear is going to stand up to the day's challenges, Engle coolers are built for you.
Welcome back to Florida Sportsman Best Boat. Join our hosts George Labonte and Rick Riles as they take a closer look at the Jupiter 25 Bay. Representing the 25 to 28 foot class in the bay boat category, the Jupiter 25 Bay has an overall length of 26 feet 1 inch, a beam of 8 feet 6 inches, and a max horsepower rating of 300. Built to overperform in blue water and inside the inlet, she has a draft of 15 inches, a dead rise of 15 degrees, a dry weight of 3,900 pounds, and a fuel capacity of 90 gallons. Now, let's hear more from our hosts, George Labonte and Rick Riles.
How you feeling, partner?
I'm feeling pretty good. Let me tell you something. We get on dozens of boats every year. You know, we have some easy days and some hard days. There's gonna be something hard about this day. You know what the hardest part of this day is gonna be?
Go ahead.
Getting me off this boat.
Let me tell you something. I could see that from the minute you left the inlet this morning, buddy. You were loving life.
It goes a lot deeper than looks with this boat. This is a fishing machine. A beach assassin, we're standing on it. You couldn't build a more perfect boat for running the beach, sight fishing for cobias, tarpon. You want to fish the beach, you want to stop and fish a wreck halfway out there, anchor up and snapper fish. Great close transit for doing that. Nice and stable. This boat will take you inshore and fish on the inside, in the mangroves, around the jetties, that kind of fishing. It really does a lot of jobs. Now there's a lot to look at on the boat. Why don't we get started right here?
You realize how unbusy this boat is?
All the kinds of fishing that I do on a boat, I don't want to have all kinds of stuff spread out everywhere, scattered. I'm looking for it. And this boat really represents the clean look of a boat that I really like. You could have 4 or 5 people hooked up at the same time, going over and under one another, and you're going to walk around here and you're not banging into each other. Super clean.
Give me that level deck.
You know, not just a level deck, Rick. Let's talk a little bit about deck height and freeboard on the boat too. I like to come up somewhere around my knees, right there above my knees, and in the bow, you're braced really nice, and it takes it all the way to the back. The bolster goes 360 around the boat too. You've got a 330 quart insulated box here, a 705 quart insulated box right there. These are giant spaces, a nice, big, comfortable, wide seat with the drink box underneath it.
There's even more to that than the cooler, George. Lift up that pad right there. What a great access you've got to your electronics and switches.
Very easy to get to and also hidden away, just keeping consistent with the clean look of the boat. I need to show you something back here. You've been looking at me in it all day. Why don't we move to the center of the boat and look at the star of the show for me.
All right, oh great captain, show me where you're, George?
Hey, up here, buddy.
I could have guessed, that's your favorite part.
Yeah, well, where did I spend the whole day? Where did I climb into at the marina and spent the entire day until we parked it right here?
George, it's not just fun. We know how much fun it is to ride up there. What a weapon.
From a fishing standpoint, you're gonna see way more fish. You're gonna see them further off.
Being able to see from that height adds one more dimension.
Yeah, you know what? And it's not a tower, it's just a tower to get you up high. Style-wise, ergonomics, this tower is designed beautifully for one thing. It looks great on the boat. More importantly, it's really easy to get in and out of.
If it's going to be a Jupiter, it can't have an average tower. Now, how about if you come on down out of there and we go to work?
All right, if I have to.
Welcome back to my world.
Thanks. The air's a little thinner down here.
George, it's a Jupiter. Of course, it's got a low profile, well laid out, sexy looking console.
You're right, it's keeping consistent with the entire clean look of the boat here. You've got 2 nice MFDs, 2 Garmin units right here. Look, there's not a switch. We've got C-Zone on this boat. You've got a dry storage compartment here with a couple of power points to plug in the phones. You've got plenty of shade over you. You've got rod holders back here. And, you know, this helm seat also serves as a bait well. Let's move back here and take a look at it.
Buddy, I know what you mean about having this live well right here. I like the clear lid. Have you seen the price of goggle eyes lately?
Yeah, here's a 40-gallon live well. That's standard. You can actually upgrade to a 55-gallon well if you need more than that.
I tell you what, I appreciated the great gasket they put around that live well because There's tackle storage right behind it. You sure don't want water splashing out of it.
What that gasket is going to do for you, Rick, I mean, a pressurized well, you got a high-speed pickup when you're running. You put a lot of water to it, it fills up to the top, but it's not going to squirt out the sides of it. It's not going to get you wet back here. It's going to keep the bait in control, not sloshing around, getting beat up when you're running from A to B. For storage under the deck back here, you've got two 220-quart insulated boxes. In the center deck here, you've got a nice large opening to get to your build systems, but let's have a look at what you've been talking about all morning. I like the tower. You won't stop talking about this.
Man, let me tell you something. That seat is dynamite. First off, it's the most comfortable place to sit on a boat. And with this wraparound back, as plush as it is, it locks you in. I mean, you feel like you're in your mother's arms when you're sitting in there.
It's cozy and it's removable. It's fitting into 2 rod holders here. If you don't want it, you take it out, you're back to a fishing boat. You've also got a nice wide transom gunnel here. This closed transom is great when everybody's in the back of the boat fishing. They've also got an integrated swim platform on both sides of the boat with a ladder on this side of the boat.
We've been an admirer of Jupiter offshore boats for a long, long time, right? Sure. If they're going to come into the bay boat market, they built a Jupiter. Does that make sense?
Sure.
They have built a Jupiter of bay boats. She's 25 feet long. If you're serious about being a beach assassin, just like my buddy Captain George Labonte, you need to see the new Jupiter 25.
When we come back, hosts George Labonte and Rick Riles check out a boat made for fishy families obsessed with blue water, the Contender 39FA. This segment brought to you by Yamaha. Reliability starts here.
An entirely new species of extreme predator is moving offshore. The Yamaha 5.6-liter V8 XTO offshore outboard. Extreme big block thrust and power in the industry's first direct injection 4-stroke. Quiet, efficient, powerful, and proven Yamaha reliability. More than an outboard, it's a fully integrated power system. The all-new Yamaha V8 XTO offshore.
Welcome back to Florida's Sportsman Best Boat. Join our hosts Rick Riles and George Labonte as they check out the Contender 39FA. Representing the 31 to 53 foot class in the center console category, the Contender 39FA has an overall length of 39 feet, a beam of 10 feet 8 inches, and a max horsepower rating of 1,400. Designed for extended blue water adventures, she has a draft of 24 inches, a dead rise of 24.5 degrees, a weight of 15,000 pounds, and a fuel capacity of 460 gallons. Now, let's hear more from our hosts, George Labonte and Rick Riles.
Rick, we're on this beautiful 39 Contender fish around today. Let's talk a little bit about why this boat has become the #1 selling unit for Contender. This boat, the fish around, has got a real cabin in it. This is a legitimate cabin boat that does not give up any fishability to make room for that cabin. You're getting all the fishability of a center console and all the comfort of a boat with a cabin down below, and one doesn't take anything away from the other. This is so impressive, I can't wait to tear into it. Why don't we take a look around?
Partner, another one of the reasons why these boats are becoming so very popular. Look what we've got up here. You know it's my #1 requirement for a fishing boat, real estate.
This is a really uncluttered, clean, nothing in the way, nothing to trip on. If you had 2 or 3 people working kites on this boat and you were going around and around, there's plenty of room to go past. 2 or 3 guys can stand up here and fish. There's nothing in your way. Really, essentially, all you need up here, all you might need, is storage or a fish box. And right here in the center deck, we've got a gigantic, I'm not even calling it a fish box, it's a fish hold. That's a big insulated box, which you can use as a storage box as well.
You're right, it's simple, it's elegant, it's wide open, plenty of real estate.
Okay, now as we move back, I mean, we've got a big lounge. I said a queen lounge, and Jordan from Contender said it's bigger than a queen. So we'll call it somewhere between a queen and a king. But 2 people, without banging into each other, can stretch out there. It's got a nice incline, super comfy padding, and you're laid out there. To make that space inside the cabin, you needed to add that. They use that space beautifully, and that is really, I mean, it's a great place for a day like this. It'd be a little sunnier than this if I had my way, but a place to chill out up on the bow is really nice right there. Now, in addition to how they use the space on this forward lounge area, this whole center module, it's not a center console, this module really makes such a huge cabin in there, but also the helm is laid out really nicely. Let's take a look at the middle of the boat. I want to show you some cool stuff. Okay, buddy, I want to show you a super clean helm station here. You've got a really nice helm face. Really big area to put 2 big 16-inch screens, center helm, and of course this boat has 3 LeBrock seats, but really what is blowing my hair back on this boat is what's going on downstairs. It's got a legitimate cabin, okay? This boat, when you go down in there, that door slides open and you're gonna walk down into a real cabin. There's a cooktop down there. There's a double door isotherm. You've got a queen size bed. This boat has got a generator and ice cold air conditioning on it. A couple and their kids could sleep on there. I mean, you've got room. It's a real cabin.
But George, all the great stuff we've hit on, I tell you what, the cockpit doesn't give up a thing. Let me show you this thing.
Plenty more to look at. Okay, man, now when you come into the back, what is traditionally thought of as the cockpit on a boat, this is where we're sitting right now, and there's a lot going on here.
In most 39, 40-foot boats, this is what you've got for a cockpit.
Yeah.
You don't have a 40-foot long cockpit like you do on this boat.
Okay, look at the back of this helm center here. This tackle station, you've got, you know, a rigging table, tackle drawers. You've got a fiberglass performance insulated drink box that slides out on an electric track, which turns that into seating like you love the mezzanine seating. Well, you've got that effect right here. You know, obviously plenty of rod holders in this hardtop. There's a 100-gallon live well in the center deck right here. There's 2 additional 40-gallon live wells on this boat in the transom. You've got that one with the clear lid. Now, another thing, the outboard 40-gallon live well is also an insulated box. If you don't need that for a live well, you can turn that into a cooler as well.
Well, one of the beauties of a boat like this is 2 people can handle it so efficiently, and there's a lot of days you don't need to ice up that big cooler. You don't need all these drinks and all this stuff to go. You and your buddy want to go, that becomes a perfect drink box that's insulated for it. This thing is 39 feet long, almost a full 40-footer. Okay?
Yeah.
I was a little curious when we stepped on the boat and found out it had triple 300s. That's 900 horsepower when it's rated for 1600.
Let me tell you something. That is all the motor you need for this boat. This boat will get you into the 60s with the Trip 300s, but more importantly, this boat will give you 1.3 to 1.4 miles per gallon cruising speed numbers, which is just phenomenal for a boat this size. It's efficient and it's fast. It's all you need. The Trip 300s is perfect.
There's a lot of roads that lead to a big fish around type boat. Let me tell you what, parked at the end of it is the 39 Contender Fish Around. You gotta see it.
Well, if you'd like any more information about the boats you've seen this week or any boats you see on Florida Sportsman Best Boat, go to floridasportsman.com.
Or we'll see you next week with another episode of Florida Sportsman Best Boat.
When filming for Florida Sportsman Best Boat, the cast and crew docked and dined at Pirates Cove Marina in Stuart, Florida. Family owned and operated, featuring 50 renovated rooms with an outstanding restaurant and a full-service 50-slip marina.